Hi, I'm DANA-BLICKENSDERFER with Art Talks, and today I have a lovely special guest, Katherine Pill, the Curator of Contemporary Arts at the MFA St. Pete location, and we are currently in the classroom. We're getting ready to get dirty, down and dirty with some icebreaker drawing and painting. How do you feel about that?
A little nervous, to be honest, but I noticed that you picked the colors of the Estonian flag. My dad was born in Estonia, so I'm excited to work with this palette.
Yeah, so the name of the rules are we get two brushes, one medium, one small, and only 3 colors to work with, and then we're timing each other. I'm going to time us for about 3 minutes, and we're going to do a portrait of each other. So you're looking at me trying to paint my face, I'm looking at you trying to paint your face, and we'll see what happens.
I'm in no way formally trained.
Okay, we are good to go.
Are we?
We will be. Okay. So on your marks, get set, go.
Okay. Oh, you're starting with the white. Are you doing a nice face?
Yeah, I'm just like getting all
right.
that expressionist over here.
Cool. All right, here I go.
A lot of people always go for black first.
Oh, it makes sense because then you can,
yeah.
Doing the white first allows you to really start to balance out the colors.
So how have you been lately? You doing good? The museum has a new exhibition, right?
Yeah, we opened the Jennifer Angus exhibition a little while ago now, but it was such a huge undertaking. There's 10,000 dried insects that have been used on the walls, and it's been a really
it's very immersive. It seems like this one.
It's probably the most immersive art exhibition we've exhibited here for sure. But the response has been wonderful. We're really happy with it. But yeah, that certainly kept our team busy. Have you seen it?
No, I'm gonna go check it out after this. I'm excited. You would think I'd be doing a side. I'm not doing your side, even though I'm looking at the side. I was doing the front, so.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna mix it up.
I'm having a lot of trouble here, Dina.
It's okay. You've got 2 minutes. When was the last time you picked up a paintbrush?
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
What's awesome.
Although it's funny, I just bought a Christmas gift for my dad. He really likes reading Winston Churchill, and later in his life, Winston Churchill turned to painting. So I just purchased the book, Painting is a Pastime. So that would be,
that's exciting.
A very special inspiration. We'll see.
Oh, that's gonna. Let me know how that book is.
I will. I just realized this palette also is reminiscent of our Pearl Fine downstairs.
Oh yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So she was involved with the abstract expressionists. We have a painting by her that's more of geometric abstraction, really, really incredible strict lines and super strong pigments is what she was doing at this point in her career. It's really beautiful. So I just sort of started painting Pearl Fine instead of your face.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah, some people go off usually sometimes Reagan is painting someone else, but she always paints herself. It's like, how did you end up looking like yourself? We have 1 minute left.
Okay, I went totally off script. I hope you're not offended.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, we have a nice collection of geometric abstraction downstairs, and I guess I just felt inspired. Let's see, I'm just gonna wipe this off a bit.
It makes it more organic.
Okay.
It's happening in the space, like you're thinking about it this morning. How much of when you're at work on your computer, do you think of the paintings downstairs out of random curiosity? Like, you know how you just like think about stuff, and do you go down there often to like get inspired?
I do try to get down there to just remind myself that you don't want to forget that you work at a museum with this incredible collection. Because you can just sort of sit in your office, and I think it's so important for people to really take time to get down there. And
it's hard, I'm sure. You just have to try to make it like a practice, a part of that's what would make it a unique opportunity, I would think.
Absolutely.
Being here. Time. Sorry, I didn't warn you. Time up! It's okay. Oh, that. Very abstract.
All right.
So I did your side profile. There's the glasses, the nose.
That's cool. I love the texture on it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
I like it a lot. This is in no way meant to be you. It's just a reflection of our conversation.
There you go. Let's see. Hold that up. Out of curiosity, that'd be cool. Okay.
Cool.
That was fun. Thank you for, I know that was
tough for me.
Tough for you, but thank you for being part of the Art Talks icebreaker. It's a big deal. So tell me how you, a little bit about your first experience with art.
I grew up in Toronto, and I don't know how old I was, but I was, let's say, 5 or 6. My mom took me to the Art Gallery of Ontario, and I remember seeing Clay Zoldenberg's Floor Burger. So it's a gigantic hamburger lying on the floor, and it's...
And you're 6?
I'm 6, and there's nothing cooler than, a giant hamburger on the floor of an art museum. So that must have had some type of impact on me, because it showed me that art can be a lot of fun. I mean, to have a first art experience, or memorable one, sort of revolve around pop art, and, thinking about everyday materials in a different way.
Yeah.
I'd like to think that had an impact on not making art scary, right? Just kind of fun.
That is cool. That's a first impression to get that at 6 years old, and that resonating with you today is really beautiful.
And then I guess one of the first experiences I had that really made me think about curating was Herzog and de Meuron, the architectural team. They did the Prez Art Museum, and they did actually a sort of installation at MoMA, 15 years ago, and they sort of took the collection, put it behind glass in almost what looked like display cases or like windows in a department store, and just put Monet wouldn't have been there. But they put all of these artists in a really weird juxtaposition against one another. Some paintings were half covered. It just showed how important presentation and context is.
Yeah.
And it really made me think a lot about the responsibility of curating, essentially.
That's cool. And at the time you didn't know it was the definition of curating, right? Because you were younger, or?
I was older. I probably knew what it was, but I just hadn't really thought about what it meant.
That's cool. And then it's like you're envisioning the future, and now you're curating here at the museum. How did you get to Florida? Like, what was that storyline?
I saw the job posting here, and it was really intriguing because it's an encyclopedic institution, and they were looking for someone to focus on post-war art, and that's an exciting kind of proposition for a young curator. Because it was just something that hadn't been focused on here. I didn't know too much about the area, but I knew some people in Tampa and was really interested in what was going on there. This museum has an incredible collection, and I thought this could be really interesting, and it has been.
How many years ago was that?
It'll be 7 years in February.
Oh, wow. So you started with that, and then now you moved more into the contemporary.
Yeah, I work with the post-World War II and
more specifically still. Yeah. That's so awesome. Yeah. What steps did you take to become more involved in the art world? Like when you're from schooling to, or were you don't seem like you were thrown in. It seems like you were very connected and passionate about it at such a young age.
Yeah, I think it was in undergrad. I took an art history class and realized that I wanted to take more. So I think it was my first semester in undergrad at McGill in Montreal that I realized I wanted to be a curator. Yeah. So I started with art history, of course, and then for grad school did art history and arts administration, because I think it sort of allows you the practical and the theoretical that can help you in this career. So aside from that, in Chicago, I started an apartment gallery, and that was strategic because it really helped. We got press. It allowed us to learn how to do press releases, install artwork, work with artists, create loan forms, and that experience was so important. Yeah, I think it helped me get my first job out of
being in an apartment gallery. I feel like you got a lot of testing. You have to test out and make a lot more risks.
Yeah, you're inviting people over to your house. I mean, you're opening your place up to the public, but it also allows you to do whatever you want. It's self-funded, so it's not like...
Yeah. I mean, as a curator, you studied art history. There's no real... Is there a guideline for curation, or based on the history, you have an eye? And tell us a little bit about what's it like as a curator.
There are curatorial programs, like BARD has probably the most prominent one. People go different routes. Some curators go strictly art history.
Yeah. Which is important as a foundational element, of course.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I just chose to also try to get some of the practical skills because you are an administrator in many ways.
It's a big responsibility.
Yeah. So I found that to be helpful for me. But you can also, it's also just important to get hands-on experience.
Throwing yourself into it.
So, Katherine, from curating in unique spaces, like you just talked about with apartment galleries, to now being at this amazing museum, describe your process on finding pieces to exhibit.
It definitely varies. Sometimes you can find incredible work online. Sometimes it's from going to art fairs. Sometimes it's, of course, just doing steady studio visits. But also, it's these networks that you sort of create over the years. And I have to say, like our current exhibition, Jennifer Angus, really came to us through our director and her connection. She saw this work at the Hudson River Museum and ended up asking Jennifer to do a site-specific installation for us.
Oh, wow. So there's a lot of relevancy with transitioning kind of things that are happening in the community versus pre-planning years in advance. Can you tell me a little bit about how the room, like you have room to work with? Like how does that process work as a curator?
That also, like our timelines really vary. So sometimes we'll do an exhibition, a smaller exhibition that's drawn from our collection, and that can happen in a matter of months.
Wow.
But, a larger scale exhibition, with a catalog, it can take years. So that's sort of the good thing about working at a museum like this is I get a little bit of both of those timelines. So you're certainly always busy, but there's such a variety.
Yeah, that's exciting that they give you the room to do both and explore both, parameters.
For sure.
And networking is a big part of your process for exhibiting?
For me, it's important. I mean, it's important as a contemporary curator to just know what's going on.
Of course.
And that can take the form of, reading articles, getting out and meeting people, seeing things. You just have to constantly, be looking.
Yeah. What are your main challenges you face when putting together an exhibition or an exhibit at this stature at like a museum?
I'd have to say, one, it takes so many people to put on an exhibition. There's so many different moving parts, and it just takes such teamwork. And I'd say that one thing that's really difficult is it's that period where you're deinstalling and installing. It's a 2 to 3 week period, and everything just has to be timed perfectly. Often our registrar or project manager will do that and just make sure that everyone knows exactly what they're doing. And we'll just it takes a lot of coordination, and it's difficult, but it just shows the importance of teamwork in a museum sort of setting.
Yeah. What kind of time frame do you usually get? Do you get like a couple days or a month to transition out and to work in new spaces?
So, if we're painting, all the artwork has to be deinstalled, walls patched, and then it can take 3 to 4 days, let's say 3 days to paint, and then you have to wait for that paint to dry before you can bring paintings in. So it's just, it gets almost like scientific in terms of figuring out the timing of it all.
Oh, man. So tell me a little bit about the current exhibition that's up at the museum and how that worked out with curating.
This was an exhibition put together by our director and our curatorial assistant, Erin Wilson, and it's called Jennifer Angus, The Grasshopper and the Ant, and Other Fables. Mm-hmm. And basically, Jennifer Angus works in a site-specific manner, so none of this will travel. It was all made specifically for the Museum of Fine Arts. And
Wow.
she works with dried exotic insects, thousands of them. So
That's
she worked with,
crazy.
yeah. And so
Talk
if you
about
see
a
this,
unique- Yeah, go ahead.
if you see the show, you'll see sort of these neo-Victorian decorative patterns that go up the entire length of our really tall walls in the Huff Gallery, along with a dinner party scene and also a gallery that's dedicated to this idea of the Cabinet of Curiosities, or the Wunderkammer. And it's a very special exhibition, but it does close January 5th, so you need to go see it now.
Yes, yes. What and you said what do you feel is the most surprising moments in this current exhibition?
I love the play of scale that happens when you go in the entrance that becomes almost cave-like, but then you enter into the really tall-ceilinged large gallery, and there are these beeswax-covered like dolls' houses on stilts, and just that play of scale is incredible. That's probably one of my favorite parts.
That's cool. And there's another exhibition with objects that are kind of like like very contrasting. And is that going on right now?
Yeah, we one example of an exhibition pulled from our permanent collection is called Upclose and Personal, and it looks at these really sort of intimately scaled works from our collection, mainly decorative arts, but also some photography like carte de visite and small daguerreotypes, as well as a whole section devoted to jewelry, to watches. I mean, it's just like I said, it's quite intimate, and it just reminds you that these are objects that people lived with that are now sort of out of context in the museum. But this allows you to sort of imagine, what they were like when they were being utilized in a functional way.
Yeah, and then especially with the insects commentary, is the artist in the installation, is she more on is her installation more on a social, or what is her message for the installation?
Her message is she wants people to be aware of climate change and aware of the importance of maintaining a healthy environment. And insects are a big part of that. We need insects to survive. Sometimes we think of them as ugly or scary, but the truth is we need them on this planet. And she just wants people to see how absolutely gorgeous some of these insects are. I mean, none of them have been manipulated. It looks like they have, painted bodies and wings, but it's all natural. So she really wants people to just fall in love with the natural world.
That is beautiful because it's such a unique way to display an insect. Like you said, like sometimes we're usually scared of bugs running across, but the way that she displayed it is such a beautiful, yeah, that is so cool. I really enjoy that conversation that she created, and it's only for this site, right? So you can't see it again except for in photos.
Right. Yeah. Gotta come see it.
Yeah. So speaking of unique installations and objects, what do you see any trends happening, or what trends do you see coming for the future for the museum or curating in general that you can maybe point out?
I think one of the most important movements has been, relational aesthetics and social practice, and just this idea of a more participatory, democratized kind of approach to art. And to that end, we have an exhibition that opens January 26th called Art of the Stage, Picasso to Hockney. And we're really excited about this, not only because of the incredible paintings, costumes, stage design sketches that this is going to encompass, but also we're going to partner with tons of local organizations to actually bring live performance to the actual galleries. So it's just this sense of collaboration that's really important. And it'll just
you have the artwork, the performance, the theatrics, the sound, the senses. So that is I haven't seen something like that in that's really exciting.
It really is. And talk about interactive. People will be in the galleries being able to watch a live performance.
That's awesome. And that's going to be coming out in January?
Yep, January 26th.
Awesome. And so what is, do you have a favorite piece from the future collection, or are we supposed to be surprised and we'll find out when we see it?
I won't give a specific piece, but I can say that if you don't already know her work, this exhibition, I'm hoping, will make you fall in love with the work of the Russian artist Natalia Goncharova.
Oh, awesome. Well, we'll check it out. And then just 2 more questions, kind of bringing it back to your listeners, because we have a lot of local artists that, like to get involved and learn a little bit more about the museum. So how do you feel like local artists can get more involved with the museum?
I guess first and foremost, come visit us because we really do try to be a point of inspiration, right, and discussion for artists.
Yeah.
We have tons of programming, artist talks, lectures, things like that. We also have a docent program. I mean, artists could get involved and actually share artworks in the collection with visitors. We also have some support groups, and every third Thursday we have something called Cocktails and Collections, which is just a really fun time for people to get together, learn more about the collection, and have some drinks.
Oh, that's awesome. So if you can give one word of advice to an artist in our community, what word would it be?
I think there can be a paucity of exhibition spaces, and I just love, the DIY attitude and starting exhibition spaces on your own and really building a community that way. Also, writing art criticism is needed in the community. So really just starting spaces on your own, I think, can be just such cool, healthy thing for an arts community.
That is unique. That's so true. There's a lot of people kind of wait to, if this news reporter said it, it must be true, instead of like writing it themselves and doing their own. So because, we create the news and the space we want to see in the world and the change. So I love that, like doing it yourself. We definitely believe in that as well, like putting your show together, even if it's in like salon style or in a backyard, it's something, and it's creating the arts and engaging in the community, which is totally amazing to see, and I believe that too. So that's awesome advice.
And that's a very good point, that it could be in your living room, your backyard, because I'm not saying that funding is easy, but I am saying that there are ways to just try to get your work shown. And of course, I need to mention Skyway, a contemporary collaboration that goes between venues in Sarasota, Tampa, and St. Pete. So we're doing it for the second iteration in summer of 2020. And this is an opportunity for people to really see, sort of check the pulse of some of the art that's being made in our respective counties. So Pinellas, Hillsborough, Manatee, Sarasota, and we actually opened it up to Pasco this year as well.
Yeah, that's a great initiative. It's your second year, right?
Yep. Yeah, we're really excited about it.
So I know that the calling is closed, but if anyone's listening that hasn't heard of it, look it up and attend the summer exhibition for Skyway. And it is like there's the Tampa Museum, Sarasota. There's so many of all you guys are involved, and I love that support of all the museums in the area. That shows a really great purpose that's beyond each own identity. It's more about the our community as a whole.
It's really nice to be able to work together. And this year we actually are also working with USF's Contemporary Art Museum. So it's a 4th venue.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, Katherine. I know your time is valuable, and we really appreciate you joining us for this episode of Art Talks and kind of learning a little bit more about you and your curation style and a little bit behind the scenes of you at the Museum of Fine Arts, St. Pete. So thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to seeing the last few days of the insect exhibition, but then the future for 2020 and all that's to hold at the museum. So thank you again for your time and joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.